Once upon a time, in a city where glass towers touched the clouds, a new office opened. It was unlike any other. Closed windows, security guards on every floor, no logos, only a small ad in the newspaper. Hiring employees, comfortable office, meals provided, growth opportunities. There were many applicants. People entered the building and disappeared from view. Families received messages. "I'm working. Everything is fine. I can't write often. Don't worry." And that was it. Those who got inside were interviewed in a sterile room where no one was visible, only a voice from a speaker. Then they were given instructions. Take off your shoes, put on a white uniform, sign the consent form. And then a strange flash of light and loss of consciousness. They woke up in another world. More precisely, in the same world, but with one difference. Now, they were the size of cockroaches. Colossal objects towered before them. Souls, carpet pile, rubber brushes. Everything was familiar, but unrecognizable. Their task was one thing, cleaning, but not ordinary cleaning. They had to serve giant slippers. They learned that these slippers were not just shoes. They were symbols of the power of the building's owners. Every visitor from above, those who had not yet been shrunk, wore these slippers. And every step these giants took collected dust, hair, and debris. Cleaning all this up was the job of the newbies. They were given tiny vacuum cleaners, scrapers, and microcloths. And those who did a poor job were simply written off. No one ever saw them again. Every morning, they were lined up in formation. Huge slippers glided over them, and the cleaning shift was assigned. Left, right, heel, toe. Someone had to clean the tread patterns. Someone else had to polish the outer edges. A particularly difficult task was to scrape dried dirt out of deep cracks the most desperate were sent there. Everything was strictly controlled. Orders were given through microspeakers. Tiny drones with cameras flew through the air. They did not allow anyone to get distracted or slow down. Once a week, they promised a promotion, but no one knew what that meant. Sometimes one of the employees was taken away and never returned. Over time, people forgot about the outside world. All they had were giant shoes, cleaning, and short breaks in narrow ventilation passages. There they exchanged guesses and carved small marks on the metal, day 34, day 105. I was here. Some tried to escape. But how can you escape when you're smaller than a match head? Once, a group of 5 people broke through into a technical tunnel. They crawled for 3 days until they stumbled upon a laboratory. There were rows of flasks and instruments. They saw others like them being cloned, assembled, and tested. And they realized they were not unique. They were a resource, consumables. When they returned, they began to tell the others. That's how the resistance was born. Plans began to be made in the ventilation shafts. Sabotage began. Once they deliberately spilled glue so that a slipper would get stuck. Another time, they carved a message on the inside of the sole. They are reducing us. We are alive. One of the visitors saw it and froze for a moment. But then, like everyone else, he stepped forward. And the slippers continued on their way. And new people continued to come to the office. They suspected nothing. And down below, in the lint and dust, the work continued. Translated with deepl.com, free version.